Voices from the ranks. The night they came through the jungle. Los Negros Island, Admiralty Islands, February to March, 1944, Chapter 1. The Voyage. The sea was calm. That bothered Sergeant Jack Morrison more than the enemy. Standing against the railing of the transport ship, he watched the moonlight dance across the black Pacific. The ship rose and fell gently upon the swells as hundreds of soldiers slept below decks, or at least pretended to sleep. No one slept much before an invasion. Not veterans, not replacements, not officers, not sergeants. Certainly not Jack Morrison. At 31 years old, he had already seen combat in New Guinea. He knew enough about war to understand that fear was normal. The men dealt with it in different ways. Near the stern, several troopers sat beneath a dim light, rolling dice across an ammunition crate. 7! A groan followed. Someone cursed. Laughter erupted. For a few moments, they forgot where they were going. Others sat quietly cleaning rifles for the 10th time. One young private read a letter from home. So often the paper was nearly falling apart. Another sat alone, holding a small Bible. His lips moved silently, praying. Jack understood both men. Sometimes prayer helped, sometimes dice helped. Anything was better than thinking. The word passing through the division was that Los Negros Island was lightly defended. The brass believed the Japanese were withdrawing. The brass had been wrong before. Jack lit a cigarette. The glow briefly illuminated his weathered face. Tomorrow we'll know. No one answered. Nobody wanted tomorrow to arrive. Yet everyone knew it would. Chapter 2. The Big Guns Speak. February 29th, 1944. Dawn. The first explosions shook the sea. Every soldier aboard the transport felt them. The battleships and cruisers had begun their bombardment. The thunder of naval artillery rolled across Hyane Harbor. The sound wasn't merely heard, it was felt. Each salvo passed through the steel hull and into the men's bones. The ships trembled. Coffee rattled inside metal cups. Men stopped talking. Far ahead, enormous pillars of earth, smoke, and jungle debris rose into the air. The fleet was tearing the island apart, or so everyone hoped. Jack watched through binoculars. The shorelines disappeared beneath explosions. Trees toppled. Fires erupted. The bombardment continued relentlessly. Again, again, again. The fleet seemed determined to erase Los Negros from existence. Then the order came. Prepare to disembark. The moment had arrived. The nervous jokes vanished. The cigarettes disappeared. Every man checked his rifle one last time. Jack looked at his squad. Most were young. Some looked terrified. He couldn't blame them. Hell, he was terrified too. The difference was that sergeants weren't allowed to show it. "Listen up," he said. The men gathered closer. "We stay together." Heads nodded. "If somebody goes down, we get him if we can." More nods. "We land, we move, we keep moving." One of the youngest soldiers swallowed hard. Jack slapped him lightly on the shoulder. "You'll be all right, kid." The young private managed a nervous smile. Neither of them truly believed it. Chapter 3. Hyane Harbor. The landing craft slammed against the waves. Seawater splashed over the sides. The smell of salt mixed with engine fumes. Men sat shoulder to shoulder, silent, waiting. The shoreline grew larger. Palm trees emerged from the smoke. The jungle beyond appeared dark and menacing. Jack could hear the engines straining. The coxswain shouted orders. The ramp rattled. Every soldier tightened his grip on his weapon. The bombardment finally ceased. Suddenly, the world became quiet. Too quiet. Then came the sound every infantryman feared. Japanese machine guns. The island wasn't abandoned, not even close. Bullets snapped overhead. Water erupted around the landing craft. The ramp crashed down. "Go! Go! Go!" Jack surged forward. Cold water splashed against his legs. The beach was chaos. Men running, officers shouting, machine guns firing, mortars exploding. The battle for Los Negros had begun. Chapter 4. The Trap. By nightfall, the Americans understood the truth. They were badly outnumbered. Roughly 1,000 cavalrymen had landed. Nearly 4,000 Japanese defenders remained on the island, and the Japanese were preparing to fight. Jack sat in a shallow foxhole. The jungle loomed only yards away. Dark, silent, watching. The silence lasted only minutes. Then the shooting started. Japanese soldiers emerged from the darkness screaming. Machine guns opened fire. Tracer rounds streaked through the night. The first counterattack crashed against the American lines. Then another. Then another. The night became a nightmare. The enemy seemed to appear from everywhere. Some swam across the harbor. Others slipped through the jungle. Many crawled directly into American positions. Nobody slept. Nobody rested. Every shadow became a threat. Every sound caused men to grip their rifles tighter. The Japanese were determined to drive the Americans back into the sea. Chapter 5. The night of March 2nd. The worst attack came after midnight. Jack sensed it before it happened. The jungle felt alive. Movement everywhere. Whispers, branches snapping. Then suddenly, thousands of voices erupted. Japanese soldiers charged from the darkness. Machine guns opened up immediately. The battlefield became a wall of fire, yet the attackers kept coming. Some reached the American perimeter. Others breached sections of the line. Hand grenades exploded. Bayonets flashed. The fighting became savage, close, personal. A young private named Eddie Parker screamed. Jack turned. 3 Japanese soldiers had broken through. One knocked Eddie to the ground. The young soldier fought desperately. Jack didn't think. He reacted. His rifle fired once. A Japanese soldier fell. The second charged. Jack met him head-on. The impact nearly knocked both men down. For a moment, they struggled in the mud. Fists, knife, rifle stock, pure survival. Jack finally drove the attacker away. When he looked around, the third man was gone. Eddie stared at him, wide-eyed, shaking. Jack grabbed him by the collar. "Get back on your rifle!" The young soldier nodded frantically. The battle wasn't over, not even close, but the line held. Barely. Chapter 6, holding on March 3rd. The Americans were exhausted. Many had fought almost continuously for days, yet help was arriving. Destroyers pushed dangerously close to shore. Their captains risked running aground. The reward was devastating firepower. Naval shells crashed into Japanese positions only yards beyond American lines. The earth shook with every impact. Then came the Seabees. Instead of simply repairing the airfield, many picked up rifles and joined the fight. Nobody cared about job titles anymore. Everyone was infantry. Everyone was needed. By afternoon, aircraft began landing. Ammunition arrived. Wounded men departed. For the first time, Jack believed they might survive. Maybe. Just maybe. Chapter 7, Smoke over Los Negros, March 6th. The tanks finally arrived. The battle's outcome was no longer in doubt. The Japanese garrison had been shattered. The island belonged to the Americans. For now. Jack sat inside a shell hole, overlooking the battered landscape. Smoke rose from the jungle. The smell of burned earth lingered in the humid air. 3 other soldiers sat nearby. One ate cold sea rations without speaking. Another stared blankly into the distance. A third slept, despite the noise around him. Pure exhaustion. Jack lit a cigarette. His hands trembled slightly. Not from fear, from fatigue. Nobody spoke for several minutes. Finally, one soldier broke the silence. "You think this is the last one?" No one laughed. Everyone understood the question. Not this battle, the war. Jack took a long drag from his cigarette, then looked toward the horizon. Beyond Los Negros lay the Philippines. Beyond the Philippines lay Okinawa. Beyond Okinawa lay Japan. Nobody knew how many battles remained. Nobody knew how many friends would die. Nobody knew if they themselves would survive. The only certainty was that tomorrow would bring another island, another landing, another battlefield, another list of names. The veteran sergeant watched the smoke drift into the sky. Around him, men cleaned weapons, buried friends, patched wounds, prepared for whatever came next. The war was far from over, and somewhere beyond the horizon, another chapter was already waiting. The question was simple: who would still be alive to tell it?